Hello everyone, Descent Freak here, and welcome to my Let's Play of Myst. This is a game that was released on September 24th, 1993, just 6 months after I was born, and 3 months before the release of Doom. This game was developed by Cyan Incorporated and published by Broderbund Software, and it was the best-selling game of all time until The Sims came out in, 2001? 2002? Something like that? And this game was remade 3 times. Yes, 3 times. With the Masterpiece Edition, which is what I'm using right here, which was released in 1999. And then Real Myst, which came out in the year 2000. Then Real Myst Masterpiece Edition, which came out in 2014. Here I'm using the Masterpiece Edition, which uses remastered music, enhanced sound effects, and it uses 24-bit true color instead of the standard 8-bit true color that the original used. So, let's go ahead and start up a brand new game. Let's play Myst.
I realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse of which I had only a fleeting glimpse. I've tried to speculate where it might have landed. I must admit, however, such conjecture is futile. Still, questions about whose hands might one day hold my Myst book are unsettling to me. I know my apprehensions might never be allayed, and so I close, realizing that perhaps the ending has not yet been written.
And here we are, introduced to a cutscene that shows a man falling out of the sky and using a book to teleport away, and here's the book right here. So many questions in our head right now. Who was that man? Where did he come from? What was that weird fissure in the stars that we just saw? And how was he able to use a book to transport himself out of the sky? So many questions that sadly cannot be answered in the time being, but they will be answered in due time. However, in the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at this book. It is a book titled Myst, which is also the name of the game, of course. And when we open it, we see an image on one of the pages of the book that's not animated for... there we go. Okay, I'm not sure what happened there. The game sort of bugged out for a second. And it turns out that the image is an animated image. It shows this island with a large forest and several different structures, and a sunken ship next to a dock. And once the image has stopped moving, we can touch the image. And be transported into the book, onto the island that's in the book. So, where are we? What is our primary objective here? Well, at first glance, it's not really all that clear. But while we're here, why don't we go ahead and explore this island and see what we can find? For instance, there's a door right here at the dock where we started, and we can open it up and step inside. And inside the door, there is some kind of a forechamber with what looked like a pool or a hot tub of some kind. And there's a button here. Let's go ahead and push it. Will that activate the jets? No, it makes the water disappear. That's funny. Water's not supposed to behave that way. Okay, well, what happens if I push the button again? The water just turned back on. Okay. Kind of pointless. Anything else in this room? Oh, there's something right here. There's what looked like a list or a menu of some kind. Settings, Dimensional Imager. Topographical Extrusion Test, 40. Water Turbulent Pool, 67. Marker Switch Diagram, 47. And there's a button right here, which opens up the wall that the list is on, and it shows us this grid with the number 67 on it. And 67 is the setting for the water turbulent pool. But what happens if we change it to 47? Will that do anything to the pool over here? Well, the water's gone, but what happens if I push the button again? It shows us an image of what appears to be a marker switch. And what are the marker switches for? Well, good question. But I don't have the answer to that question yet. In the meantime, though, let's go ahead and put in the number 40 for the topographical extrusion test. And see what we get from this imager this time. And we get a grid of what appears to be a snowy mountain landscape. And what could this place possibly be? Who knows? Kind of fascinating, but entirely pointless. But that's pretty much all we can do here, so let's head on back outside and continue exploring this island. Well, here's a sunken ship right here that we can't do much about. Can't go into the crow's nest or anything. And here's the marker switch right here. And what happens when I flip it? Nothing, it seemed like. Nothing happens if I flip it up and down repeatedly. So let's go ahead and go up these stairs, and we can choose to go left or right. Let's go right first and go up here to these two giant gears, or cogs, or whatever you want to call them, that don't seem to interlock with each other for some reason. But the reason I wanted to go up here is because there is another marker switch right here. Let's go ahead and flip that one up. And if we turn around and look up, we can see that there is a tower at the top of this mountain. Yeah, this is something that people who play this game don't realize, is when you're standing here and facing this mountain, you can actually look up. Problem is, though, the cursor doesn't really indicate when you can actually look up from where you're standing. It does change when you can look down. You see that the cursor flips upside down. But if there's an option to look up, the cursor doesn't really change. They did fix that in the sequel to this game, Ribbon, where the cursor would just flip around 180 degrees. But yeah, this is something that you can do from this spot. You can look up at the tower from this location. Anyway, let's step back down and head on over this way. Ooh, what do we have here? It's a note. Catherine, I've left for you a message of utmost importance in our forechamber beside the dock. Enter the number of marker switches on this island into the imager to retrieve the message. Yours, Atris. Aha! So we've gotten our first official objective of this game, to keep an eye out for the marker switches and take note of how many we find. And put that number into the imager down below. Well, here's the third one right here. Go ahead and flip that one up. In front of this weird looking building. What's inside this building? It appeared to be a dentist office. Yeah, I'm getting the hell out of there, because I really don't like going to the dentist office. And there's another building right here, but there's no marker switch in sight. So I guess we'll come back here later. And, oops, sorry about that. Over here is a rocket ship with another marker switch. So that's, what, 4 now? Can we go inside the rocket? No, we cannot. Oh well, I guess we'll have to come back here later when we can figure out how to open up that rocket. And there's a courtyard here with a model of the sunken ship by the dock inside this. What is this, like a bird bath or a fountain of some kind? And here's another marker switch. So that makes 5. And now, ooh, butterflies. Pretty little butterflies. And they flew right over here, and over this way is marker switch number 6 in front of this brick shed of some kind. I'm not going to go inside. I'm just instead going to continue exploring, see if I can find more marker switches, like this one right here, by this log cabin. So that's 7. And over here is a tree surrounded by this brick wall. What is so special about this tree that it requires a brick wall to surround it? Who knows? We'll probably find out later. And now, over this way at the end of the island, there is a clock tower. And there's some consoles right here with a couple of wheels that we can turn. And a button that doesn't seem to do anything. However, wait, wasn't it 12 o'clock before? Now it's 4:20. 4:20, haha. So, wait a minute, does turning these wheels change the time on the clock? It does. Huh, okay. So the big wheel turns the minute hand, and I would assume this one turns the hour hand. And that is indeed the case. But there's no way to get to the clock tower or that marker switch right there. Now, here's the question. In the note that Atris wrote to Catherine, he wrote down, enter the number of marker switches on this island, the one that I'm standing on. That clock tower is not part of the island. And that would mean that that marker switch wouldn't be part of this island either, correct? If that's the case, then the number of marker switches we have found on this island would be 7. So let's go ahead and head back to the 4 chamber and put in the number 7 into that grid. Here it is. So here we go. 7. Push the button. And let's see what happens when we push this button. Nothing. Nothing happens at all. Huh, okay. So I guess the marker switch by the clock tower does count, even though it's technically not part of the main island. Or maybe it is, and they're just, like, connected underwater. I don't know. But anyway, now let's see what happens when we push the button.
Catherine, my love, I have to leave quickly. Something terrible has happened. It's hard for me to believe. Most of my books have been destroyed. Catherine, it's one of our sons. I suspect Achenar, but I shouldn't leap to conclusions. I'll find him and Cirrus as well. Oh, I should have known better than to have left my library unchecked for so long. Well, I've removed the remaining undamaged books from the library and placed them in their places of protection. You shouldn't have to use the books until I return. But if you've forgotten the access keys, remember the tower rotation. Oh, and don't worry, Catherine. Everything will be fine. I'll see you shortly. Oh, wait, and erase this message after you've viewed it, just to be safe.
Well, that was interesting. I guess we found the message that Atris has left for Catherine. But I think this would be a good time to stop this video, so we shall continue next time on Let's Play Myst. See you guys next time.